There he is, 2010 first-round pick, Devin McCourty, and everybody's first-round pick. It's Phil Perry. Guys, one sentence. He is.
Okay.
You know what?
His wife would agree.
The show has remained corny since you left, and it was corny when you were here. Give me a sentence summing up the Patriots 2023 draft, will you?
A good draft. A good, solid draft. Soon as they drafted Christian Gonzalez, the draft became solid, no matter what happened. I think that kid's going to be a stud in the NFL, and I'm not going to lie to you. I don't watch a ton of college football, but since this whole process has started, everyone has been saying Witherspoon, Gonzalez, Witherspoon, Gonzalez. Few people then started saying Gonzalez, Witherspoon. So, it seemed like these were the top two corners you could get. And I think for the Patriots to walk away with one of these guys at 17, I mean, you got to be happy about that.
It's a layup. Phil, one sentence.
The sentence is defense wins championships. Now, we can debate whether or not that is valid in 2023, but that's what the draft says to me. When you take a corner in round one, when you take a defensive end in round two, and you already had a pretty damn good defense last year. I know this guy's not there anymore, and I know there's probably a little bit more uncertainty on that side of the ball, but to add with your two premium assets in the draft on the defensive side, when the offense needed a lot of help, it looks like this offseason, it tells me Bill Belichick still believes defense wins championships.
They might have got help from defensive players that might be playing offense.
That's what we're going to get into later. Don't put the cart ahead of the horse. Christian Gonzalez met the media after the team introduced him. Here he is talking about the sheer excitement of being a Patriot.
Yeah, I felt the energy as soon as I landed and was here, came in the building, and there's just that automatic feel of, you're around greatness. So I'm just excited to learn, really. Just excited to learn, work, and, come out here and try to help win.
Well, there he is. Ideally, Dev, you come in at 17th. You're one of the top 10 prospects in the land. Would he be able to start week one as a 20-year-old?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, you draft a guy that high.
Yep.
I got drafted 27, and I had a chance to start and ended up starting as a rookie. But, I think you get this guy that high, at 17 in a position that they have guys that have been there, but there's no kind of long-standing veteran that's played corner other than John Jones, and for most of his career other than last year, he's been inside in the slot. So I think a guy like Gonzalez, I think he's going to get a chance to compete. Bill has said it a lot of times. It's always going to be a competition. He's not just going to hand somebody the keys and say, hey, you're starting. But I think Gonzalez will have a chance.
And Matt Groh told us right before the draft, you're taking a player in the middle of the first round. You better have conviction that this guy can make an immediate impact for you. You didn't say start, but that's what I would expect.
Do you worry about a 20-year-old's development at all?
I don't, because I think whether you're 20 or 23, it has more to do with who you are as a person. And I think through this whole process, that's what all these interviews are about. You go to the campus, you can talk to the coaches. That's what you're gathering information. I don't think the age necessarily matters. The age is great for him because that means he's going to get to another contract. He's younger. Hey, Gonzalez, you're going to make a lot of money in this league.
25. Even if they
I was old when I got there, so I had to count. Luckily, the cap went up, so I benefited on the back end.
Let me ask you this, because one of the questions about Christian Gonzalez, and I've spoken to multiple NFL people that look at him and say, great physical talent, great upside there, not the most physical guy in terms of his playing style, might not be the most willing when it comes to that part of the game. Can you teach that to a young player in your experience, or does it just not matter all that much because he's playing corner? This guy's not a linebacker.
Yeah, I mean, no one's going to go from not tackling, if that's what we're talking about in college, to tackling in the NFL. That's not happening. But I'll say this. For that position, if you can stand in front of a guy, mirror him, and shut a guy down and play at a high level, I need you to tackle when we get in the playoffs. When we get in the playoffs, I need whatever you got in the tank, and that's what I used to love about Gilmore. And Gilmore would tackle you, but there'd be some plays where Gilmore might miss a tackle. We get in the playoffs, Gilly is coming down full speed. He's lighting people up. He's playing hard. And to me, that's what it's about. If this guy can go out there and play that kind of style of football, man-to-man, covering guys, what they do now, seatbelt, put the seatbelt on them, I love to see it.
I haven't seen the seatbelt.
Yeah, you're old. You don't understand. When you see guys like this on the field.
I'm in bed before the seatbelt.
No.
I'm an older guy.
When you watch the games and you see this celebration, that's taking your seatbelt, locking it in.
What about clamps?
Yeah, what happened to that was Gilmore's thing, I think. What he had the handcuffs
Gilmore's
on
old
guys.
now, though.
Yeah,
he's old.
True.
You guys got to stay up to date with the new DB.
Seatbelt.
Yeah.
That makes me feel good about where these guys' heads are at. Safety first. Well, at least they're wearing their seatbelts when in the
You're
vehicle.
also an older guy. We asked you guys what you loved about the Patriots draft. This is from the stands. Today's poll question was simple. Aside from selecting Gonzalez, what do you love about the Patriots 2023 draft? Everybody liked Keon White. Next up, I like the wideouts. Okay. 16% said offensive line depth, and then 15% with tongue-in-cheek said all the special teamers. Comments coming up right now. Brian Pilo, I almost went Keon White, but adding depth to the offensive line with the new coach provides what Mac needed most, protection. Next up, CDF. I'll read the whole thing for you. Everyone wants a flashy new TV and entertainment system, but if your plumbing is shot, so is your domestic experience. So focus on the plumbing rather than the TV if that's what you have the resources for. This is my TED Talk on rebuilding the interior line depth and special teams. I like that one. Next up, Patrick, Kayshawn, DeMario, White, and I'm intrigued by Sighty Sow. And the last one, oh, that was the last one. Thank you, Buckets. Who are you guys giddy about?
I already said it. I'm not one of those
You
guys.
better not be Gonzalez.
I'm not going deep down the board. Yes, I'm excited about Gonzalez. He's going to be the guy that's going to have an immediate impact, and he's going to play. Even White, as good of a player he's going to you have Dietrich Wise, you have Matt Judon over there, you have Josh Uche. You have other guys out there that's going to play right away. Gonzalez is going to be out there starting first day in training camp. I could see him rotating in there with the ones.
Unreserved giddiness. Okay, we'll let you.
Randy
you get
Moss beat me to sleep my rookie year. That's what everybody came to see.
Really? We'll get into that.
I'm going with Keon White because, like the corner, this is a premium position on the defensive side of the ball, and I think this guy is a perfect fit both on the field and culturally for this team.
You don't know him. How do you know
This guy is serious, Devin. He is so serious. It got a little combative, is my understanding, with some of his teammates at Georgia Tech because he was not putting up with college kids, let's just say acting like college kids. He had no tolerance for that. Well, you come to New England where everybody wants you to be a pro. He's already that, Tom. He can be inside. He can be outside on the defensive line. I think there's a lot of different things that Bill Belichick can do with this guy. Versatile.
I can already see the conversations between him and Mayo when he's trying to be serious, and Mayo's just absolutely destroyed.
So he might hate Mayo. Mayo's not serious.
Why are you so serious, Keon?
Yeah, right.
We got another poll coming up right now. I asked you the opposite. What do you absolutely hate about the Patriots 2023 draft? No offensive tackle and no tight end. Carries the day. Waited too long for the wideouts, 25%. All the special teamers. And 10% said, can we please trade up? All right, Roderick, pardon me. I don't harbor any hate as to what the Patriots did. They are in the AFC, pass-heavy conference. Alpha Dog's a quarterback. Patriots have to score, yeah, but they have to stop teams from scoring as well. Next up, Mark Iarardi. Sorry, Tom, but after the Bees debacle and the C's losing, I do not have the energy to be negative. So I appreciate what you're saying there, Mark. I'm not going to ask you about hate yet. I'm going to ask you, Phil, about hate.
I want to combine two of those categories. Can I do that? Can I combine the one that I know you're hot on, which is why didn't they trade up, with the why wait so long for receivers? Take some of those picks, package them, try to move up, and roll the dice on what might be a high upside guy at a premium position on the offensive side. Right now, it just doesn't feel like, Devin, they have the weapon that scares opposing defensive coordinators week after week, outside of maybe Ramondre Stevenson. If you could have gotten that guy in the draft, in the past game, that to me would have been a big deal.
Yeah, I agree with you. Offense. I mean, you said it earlier. They lost one guy on defense. That's me. One guy. That defense is going to be a pretty good defense this year. I would have loved to see whether it was tackle, tight end, receiver, anybody I would have loved to see just to help out the offense.
My issue is simple. You took 12 players. You didn't want to take 12 players. The reason you took 12 players, you sat there on those 4th and 6th round picks and said, well, we're not going to give them up just to give them up. Give them up. Go get someone. You wanted to trade up. You didn't do it. Hated that. All right, coming up, are the Patriots better than they were when the season ended? Very simple. We'll get into that with Dev and Phil right in a second. Right in a second? Growth Potential, brought to you by Dr. Matthew Lopresti. Look younger, feel younger, get your hair back with Leonard Hair Transplant Associates. There is someone that Leonard Hair Transplant Associates could have gotten to earlier. They did not. We'll bring them on camera in just a second. Check it out around the AFC East. Here's some of the guys who got picked up. Tight end, yep, Dalton Kincaid. Edge guy, McDonald. I don't think that anybody really had a seismic move, but none of those teams actually had a whole pile of picks either. Now time for my slant, which is actually today, it's our slant. And I'm going to ask you a real simple question. Watch out! Is this team, Devin, better than it was when you guys left the field at the end of the year?
I think that is a very interesting question because we just talked about this off air. I do think they're a better team than the way we ended last season. I think Billy O'Brien makes a big difference on offense. I think that helps. But the question is, does it matter if you're better, but the division's better, everyone else is better, and you're not able to be in the playoffs again this year? I think that's what it'll come down to. Is this a playoff winning team? Not just get to the playoffs, but is this team good enough to win a playoff game?
So the product might be a hell of a lot more watchable. The discipline, the institutional smarts, the situational stuff, so much better. But 8 and 9 could still be on the table. Phil, what's your take?
Did they improve enough to contend? This is what I come back to when I talk about adding to your offense in the draft. It might have been your last opportunity to try to add a real game changer on that side of the ball. You didn't do it. So you're going to be better with Bill O'Brien. We know that. Did you improve enough to be able to compete with the likes of Josh Allen or Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes? These are the teams you want to contend with in the conference. The time is now, Tom. You can't wait another 4 or 5 years before you become a really good team again. They have to try to do it now. I'm not sure they have enough.
What sucks is the last year of Devin's career was kind of pissed away in some ways because it just stagnated and nothing happened and the team didn't get better or worse. And now we're basically picking up in 2023 where 2021 left off. You don't know if they're better, you don't know if they're worse. They add people, and now we'll find out. So that to me is what bothers me. But I do think that Bill O'Brien will be a retro rocket attached to the offense because he has to. Kendrick Bourne will be relevant. Gesicki will be relevant. The offensive line will be better under Adrian Clem. Can't help but help them. Meanwhile, Bill Belichick recently gave Mac Jones a vote of confidence after much badgering. But earlier in the offseason, the support wasn't exactly there from either of the Bills. Here's Billy O and Billy B.
Mac Jones, health permitting, is he a player that you envision being your starting quarterback next season, or is this a position you need to reevaluate this offseason?
Well, I think there's, Mac has the ability to, to play quarterback in this league.
The big thing for us right now is everybody's starting with a clean slate. I think that every year is different. I think this year is no different than any other year relative to each year in the NFL is different.
As we watch this whole offseason unfold, I got a simple question for you. Is Mac Jones a player who would benefit more from a kick in the ass or a pat on the back?
I don't know. I do. I think he is a very focused, determined guy from the day he stepped foot there. We used to talk about it. We used to try to get him like, hey, Mac, loosen up. Like, it's okay. You made a mistake. Like, you're going to be better. It's okay. So he's so hard on himself. I don't think it would be the end of the world to get some, like him being able to, someone probably tweeting him or sending him that clip of, hey, Bill's supporting you. He's our guy. I think it could help him, but I don't think he's the guy. If he's reading bad things, he's like, oh man, no, I don't think that's his personality. Yes, I think he's a self-motivated player, and I think this year, coming off last year, he's going to be focused and have something to prove.
If you were still on the team, and even in the situation you are in now, does it capture your attention to see how he responds? Would it capture your attention as a teammate to say, how's our quarterback doing with all this stuff that's been swirling?
Yeah, I think you always think about that. I think anytime, whether it's a coach saying something, whether it's something going on outside a distraction, if someone's going through something, you are wondering like, hey, I wonder how he's doing. Let me check on him. Hey, how you doing? But again, I think a guy like Mac, and I think what he's built on that team, whether it's the receivers, the tight ends, guys love hanging with him. They love him. He's gotten the guys great gifts at Christmas time. Like, I think some of the issues that, now that I'm in the media, we talk about, I don't think they're as prevalent inside the locker room, and I think that's where it matters most.
Phil, when we look at this team, what are they still missing? And I might just take it right off the table right now. You can't say explosive wideout.
I would say somebody who alters the geometry of the defense in the passing game. Doesn't have to be a wideout, okay? So I'm going to loop around your question. I'm going to answer it in a similar way. Say a tight end. Say a back who has some receiving skills. We know Ramondre Stevenson can do that, but who's the James White on this team? Is it Pierre Strong? Is he ready to be the pass protector that they want on third down as well as the receiver? We know he's a great athlete. I just don't know where the juice, Tom, is coming from on the offensive side in 2023.
It's what we talk about as a defense. who do we have to game plan for? Who do we have to say, this guy can't beat us or that guy can't beat? I think that's the thing when you week to week and you walk into a game as a defender, when that game's coming up and you're looking ahead, Cincinnati, you're like, oh, all right, we got to deal with Higgins and Chase. All right, let's talk about what we're going to do to defend this team. Back in my day, years ago, you played Detroit. Oh, they got Calvin Johnson. How are we going to handle him? So I do agree with you. A guy, when teams used to play us, how are we going to handle Gronk? What are we going to do to deal with Gronk?
And even post that, how are we going to handle Julian Edelman and James White?
Right.
Because they're in such lockstep with everything Brady does. Maybe neither one is 6'5", can jump out of the gym, but they take the edge.
Yep. And it's always in third down.
Tell me this, honestly, media guy, can Tyquan Thornton be that guy? Can he come in under the radar as a second-round pick last year and be the wide receiver everybody was dying for the Patriots to select this year?
Again, I haven't seen his college film, but I would say with his speed and his ability to get down the field horizontally and vertically, I think he definitely has a chance. I'm so interested to see what he looks like in this offense now compared to last year, where it was really just straight down, let's run a shot, and it was here and there. And hopefully he's healthy this year and he gets a full offseason, full training camp to show what he can do.
That's the big thing, because he got hurt early last season. It was basically his first time being tackled, I think, as a pro in the preseason, and he misses several weeks, and then everything is set back.
And he tried to go through contact in the second preseason game and carry people, and he weighs 111 pounds. It wasn't necessary, shouldn't have been done.
He's eating this offseason, though.
Good.
Yeah. I'm just making that up. I don't know.
Last question. I got 11 seconds.
I would hope they're all eating.
Is it conceivable for a team to, as Bill O'Brien has spoken about, wipe the slate clean, move forward, nothing that happened last year matters?
You have to. Every year we talk about that. Yes, it is. You move on. I'm gone. It helps. Old guy's gone. Clean slate.
All right, see you later. Listen, do me a favor, check out the latest Patriots Talk podcast. Phil Perry and I, we're going to talk about which draft picks we liked, which ones we didn't like. We're going to talk about way more than that, too, though. You can scan the QR code on the screen, or you can find it on your favorite podcasting app or on YouTube. It's presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. Coming up after the break, Juju Smith-Schuster met with the media this week. Mike Gesicki's going to do the same. We will be back after the break to talk about expectations for these two new additions this year.
Honestly, Bill, man. I think, like you said, being at a place where, he's a great head coach. And as far as, everything else, how everything else goes and seems, I just felt like I fit here.
Time now for Quick Fire, brought to you by your New England Honda dealers. Jury's out on Juju. This guy has to play better than Jacoby Myers. Period. End of story. Do you think he can do that?
I think his time in the NFL has showed that he can do that. He played at a high level in Pittsburgh. Obviously, you had Antonio Brown opposite. You won't have that now. But I am very interested. I was a fan of keep Jacoby. That's where I was. But I hope he does fill that role and play at a high level.
I'm not sure this is an upgrade. I just feel like you need to be able to get open and get open quickly in the Patriots offense. Very different from that Kansas City offense. I'm not sure. I don't know if Juju Smith-Schuster can do that. And he's got to learn the offense too, which is something he talked about with the media. He's got his flashcards going, Tom. He's studying like he's never studied before.
Oh, no.
There's going to be a lot thrown his way. He's got to be able to pick it up quickly.
And it's different in the Pittsburgh offense.
Every time I've heard a guy say, I'm studying like I've never studied before, it doesn't work. Chad Ocean.
Don't put it out there. I knew you were thinking Chad.
Boy. All right, meanwhile, this might be your wide receiver. Here's Bill Belichick on Mike Gesicki. He's a hard guy to cover. Long, crafty route runner. He can get down the field. Very good hands. He makes some acrobatic catches now. He has enough quickness to separate. He really, I would say, is more of a big receiver than a true tight end, but he functions a little bit in that spot. Devin, I haven't covered him. You haven't covered him, Phil.
That's how we saw him.
Why
Anytime he checked in the game, we would call it the personnel. We would put light at the end of it because he's a tight end. We put light to remind us it's really a receiver in the game. I think he's going to be probably their best mismatch when it comes to game plan, getting him matched up on different guys. He had a great year. Was that 2021?
Yeah, he was averaging 60 catches a year last year.
New offense comes in, doesn't fit him. I'm excited to see what he can do in this offense.
The reason I like the addition is because, to me, he looks like a vertical threat for the middle of the field. So with Bill O'Brien running that 2 tight end offense that he ran about a decade ago here, Rob Gronkowski run all his vertical routes. I'm not saying Mike Gesicki is Rob Gronkowski, but he'll run some of those routes, and I think he's going to be really, really productive.
Could he be Scott Chandler? Could he be Martellus Bennett? Could he be Mike Gesicki? All right, finally, could this guy be the absolute oil in the offense that I hope he is, in the engine? 4 receptions last year for Marcus Jones, 78 yards, 95 yak yards on those 4 catches. Here I am in the middle of the set. Would you flip this kid?
I don't want to see him on offense. I want to see the guy playing defense and returning the ball. That's
Spoken
it.
like a true defender.
That's it.
Just ruin everybody's
He
fun.
didn't help us on offense. We still average, 15 points a game?
He averaged like 50 yards a catch. He scored every time he touched
points.
it.
That's a waste of time.
See ya.